Good morning.
Good
Ah,
afternoon.
yeah, I'm so
Ah,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, I lost track of
Um,
time. Would you like to introduce yourself?
yeah, of course. I'm Raj Ranjan from Patna, and I'm a BCom graduate and a private tutor.
Okay, that's great. So you're a tutor yourself. What do you teach?
Yeah, I am maths and English up to 10th and accounts at plus 2.
That's great. Even I have a BCom degree.
Yeah, read on your profile.
Oh, okay, great, great. So, would you like to go ahead with a casual conversation? Would you like to go ahead with a casual conversation, or would you like to discuss what's in the session material for today?
Anything you want, as you
Anything
wish.
I want?
Yeah,
Okay. Before we proceed further, would you like to tell me about any specific issues that you're facing so that I can, utilize the session better?
yeah, of course. Like it's been 6 months or more than that when I have joined or I have been associated with this. And the one thing that I have improved a bit, I mean a lot, not a bit, because before joining, I was good with my grammars, but I was not confident enough to talk. Now I'm able to express myself, have improved a bit on pronunciation. I would not say that pronunciation has improved that much, and a little bit on my hand gesture or facial expression, maybe, but still I'm not confident enough, and still I'm getting the same feedback from some or the other tutors that I need to work on my intonation because sometimes I sound monotonous in the same tone I talk throughout the session. So these are the
Hmm.
things that I'm working on, and I'm unable to find the way out of this. For example, it feels like I may have reached the upper intermediate level, but I'm stuck now, and I'm unable to find what are the things that I need to change in my plan so that I could achieve fluency, or the C1 or C2 level.
Okay, okay. I hear
And
you,
one more
and
thing,
yeah.
one more thing I would like to add here, that sometimes when I go back to listen to my recording, I sound like I'm talking in cluster of sentences. So
Okay.
are you able to guess that as well, or is it okay? Is it sounding like that, or is it fluent enough?
No, I didn't observe any issues regarding you speaking in longer sentences or a cluster of sentences. I think you took appropriate pauses wherever it was required to emphasize on
Okay,
the idea that you're trying to communicate. So
okay,
I don't think that you have any issues on that front. But I do agree with the other tutors when they say that you might end up sounding monotonous at times.
yeah,
Like, if you have observed while I was speaking, is that I'm constantly changing my tone,
right,
right? And that is something that will not happen overnight. You have to work on it consciously. Sometimes it comes
right,
out subconsciously also. Like, I have whatever I've learned is from watching web series or movies of the Western culture without the subtitles.
right.
So,
So I would like to add here as well that I have reached that level. I mean,
okay.
recently I have watched a few movies without subtitles, and I was able to get almost 70-75% of that. So
Yeah.
for like in between, I had to go back to the subtitles to
Mhm.
listen carefully what they were saying.
Okay, that's great. Since you already understand 70 to 75%, sometimes even I don't understand the entire thing because there are so many other accents besides the American and the British accent that are used in
Yeah,
Western movies.
of
So, I
course.
mean, it's natural. Even if you don't understand 50% of the movie, what we're trying to do by watching the movie is we're trying to learn where the actors take pauses, when do they change their tone, how do they
Right,
react to certain situations. For example, if you're talking about something sad or if you're describing a sad event in your life, then you tend to lower down your voice. You start talking softly, like I'm doing
yeah,
right now, right?
right,
In a deeper voice.
yeah.
But when you're talking about something really happy, then you try to increase your
Oh,
voice,
yeah,
raise your levels, and then you try to increase your pitch.
Right, right.
correct? And you move more
Yeah,
when you're talking about something happy, then you move more, then you use your head, you use your shoulders, you use your hands.
right.
So even if you have a monotonous tone, if you use your body while talking, then you can trick people into thinking that you're actually not monotonous. Like I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Like I'm talking in a monotonous tone right now, but I'm using my hands and I'll be using my head also. So even if I'm talking in a monotonous tone right now, I am tricking you into thinking that I'm actually putting in effort in the conversation and
Right.
that my tone is changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you can work on. And other than that, voice modulation is something that I always recommend that people work on because even if you're making grammatical mistakes, even if you don't have anything specific to talk about, if you change your tone constantly, that tricks people into thinking that you're very confident with the language.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, tell me something. Is it okay if I refer to you by your name?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Raj, why don't you tell me something about what kind of movies do you like watching or the last movie that you watched?
Uh, the last movie, uh, Article 15. Yeah.
Article
Again.
15. Okay, did
Yes.
you watch it in Hindi or did you watch it in English?
Uh, Hindi only.
Hindi
I
only.
watched it in Hindi. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you like the most about the movie?
Of course, the movie explains about the constitution, that how there everything, every solution is there in our constitution. All we have to do is to accept that or work on that. But instead of
Hmm.
doing that, we are always looking forward to loopholes, and then taking advantage of those loopholes. So if
Hmm.
we need to, if we have to improve, or we have to move forward, we will have to look forward to those things and work properly. Then only we can become developed, or whatever it is.
Then only we can reach the ground where justice is actually served frequently
Yeah, of course.
in our country. Yeah, even I liked Article 15. Did you like the acting of the actors and the plot of the movie?
Yeah, of course. The plot was good, and of course the acting was also very nice.
Do you like Ayushmann Khurrana?
Yeah, I like his acting very
What
much.
do you like about him? What do you like about his acting?
He's very simple. Like when he acts, it sounds. I mean, it seems natural. It seems like,
Hmm.
okay, someone is from, like a common man is doing his works and all that.
Okay, that's great. Like even I like that he kind of dwells into the role. He melts into the role and he chooses a more natural acting style as opposed to
Yeah,
choosing a more formal acting style. So at times you don't even realize that he's he's an actor, he might be earning in millions. At times you just think that okay, he's just a police officer or he's just a normal
yeah.
brother or a friend, right?
Right, right.
That is what I like about actors these days. Like even Rajkumar Rao has a pretty natural acting style.
Yeah, of course.
Uh, that's
And
nice.
like,
So,
I mean, I hardly watch movies these days, especially the Hindi movies. And
mhm.
but someone recommended, like, if you have not watched it, you are missing something. So I went for it.
Yeah. I mean, there is so much content these days that you cannot watch all the movies that everybody recommends, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
And
we have
especially
to.
because, I mean, the kind of movies that Bollywood is making these days, they are just very, I mean, the plot and all that, they are very pathetic and very even monotonous, I can say. Like they are repeating the things only. So I mean, those styles were used to get them popularity in 90s. So
Hmm.
like everything changes according to time, but they have not changed. They are repeating all those things. though they have changed the background and all, but they have changed the story, but then they are same kind of a story. They are repeating one after the another, or most of the time they are only copying, like from South India, copy directly to the Bollywood or something like that. So this is the reason
Mm.
I have kind of get fed up of watching Bollywood movies, and especially
Mm.
when I started watching and enjoying English movies, I am watching only those movies.
You've given me an interesting insight, to be honest, Mr. Raj. Like, I completely agree with you. Once you start watching Western movies and see how much they've developed on the plot styles and how much further they've gone with addressing social issues, then you kind of get bored of the same Bollywood movies where the goons kidnap the heroine and then the hero goes and saves her.
Yeah,
I agree with you that these styles were very popular in the 90s, 80s, or 70s, but I mean, times have changed, right? As you said.
right.
So I agree. Also, I noticed something, Mr. Raj, that while you were speaking from your heart, when you were giving me the insight that you observed, you did use voice modulation and you did change your expressions. So I really
Okay,
like that. So
okay,
I think it's more about controlling how you present yourself. So I feel like you're controlling how you present yourself right now. That's why you're restricting your emotions and you're not letting your emotions come out through your words and through your expressions.
right.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Okay. So, yeah, just don't restrict yourself. Don't restrict yourself to being formal, to like sitting only upright. You should flow with the conversation,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I understand like if you were running presidential elections, then you have to like sit up straight and
Yeah.
then you talk in a monotonous tone, be really serious, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But we're not having a formal conversation right now. We are having a casual conversation.
Right.
So yeah, let yourself loose, let your emotions come out through your words, and I observe that you have the capability. It's just that maybe you're not letting it out. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that's the reason. Yeah. So don't get too conscious. Like I understand that you're a private tutor, right?
Yeah.
So even when you're teaching kids, having that skill of voice modulation and having that skill of keeping students engaged is only going to benefit you,
Right.
right? Because
Yeah.
kids do get bored of studying math and science. Like, let's be honest, not a lot of people are interested in mathematics. I used to love mathematics, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Like even I have been like a tutor in the past. I used to teach accountancy and mathematics, and I know that the students start dozing off in front of you
Of course. Yeah.
during the subject. Yeah. So yeah, that is why I started working on my communication skills because I realized just having the facts to teach is not enough these days. You have to have communication skills to teach better.
Yeah. Of course. And that is the reason for me as well to try to work on my communication
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
And apart from that, I also like to add this spoken English thing in my horizon of teaching.
Yeah, definitely. You can do that because I've seen people gain tremendous improvement in short spans of time because they were so passionate about it. So, I mean, anybody can do it. We're all human, right?
Right.
So, I would suggest that you continue watching Western movies. And the only reason why I'm asking you to watch movies is so that you get comfortable with the language, so that you get comfortable with expressing yourself in this language,
Right.
right? Once you, like, for example, what's your native language?
Hindi.
Hindi. So you might notice when you're talking in Hindi to your peers or to your friends or to the students or your family, you are using voice modulation naturally. Like I'll give
Yeah.
you an example.
Like,
Yeah,
but I would like
yeah.
to say that yes, some of my friends say that even in Hindi you sound this way.
That means that's a personality trait then. It's not about the language. Then it's
Of
about the
course.
personality. Then you'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
work on that separately, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Raj, I completely understand where you're coming from because I used to be an introvert. And I used
Okay.
to talk like this to people. Like I never used to make eye contact and I used to talk like this, like, hi, how are you? Yeah, I had my lunch. Like I used to talk like this.
Okay.
Yeah. But then confidence is something that you need to incorporate in your personality.
Right.
And if you have that, then no matter which language you speak, it will show.
Right, right.
So work on that, and to work on that, you need to get comfortable with the language, and that's why I'm recommending the movies. And maybe you can even, try to listen to podcasts, or if you like brushing up your concepts, maybe watch tutors on YouTube. You can watch how they teach, like you can watch their teaching style, and then you can try to incorporate all the voice modulations that they use. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just trying to recommend videos or just consume content that you like.
Right,
Don't go
right.
out of your way to consume content that you don't like because that will only make you hate the language more, right? So consume content
Right.
that you like and consume more and more content in English so that you get comfortable with it.
Yeah, of course. I have been doing all this,
Okay,
but
that's great.
yeah. I mean, I feel like I have spent 6 months, so I feel that this is the time I should have. Like, for example, I took a test with British Council, and still there I am on B2 level. So that is something
Okay.
that makes me worry that okay, before 3 months I was on B1 and I'm still on B2 only.
Mr. R, you shouldn't be forcing yourself too much to gain a lot of improvement because
Yeah,
it took me 2 years, 2 to 3 years actually,
right,
to
right,
reach the level that I am at right now because I didn't speak in English much until after the 12th standard.
right.
I started improving my communication skills only after the 12th standard, and it's not like it came to me overnight. I watch a lot of Western movies. Like in my free time, I watch YouTube videos, I watch creators who create videos in English, and I started mirroring their styles.
Right.
And whenever I used to be free, like I have this bad habit of talking to myself in the mirror just to know
Okay.
what I look like,
Yeah.
right? So, as you mentioned that you are already watching the recordings of previous sessions, that is a great exercise. But since you want to make conscious improvement, I think you'll have to consciously put an effort in changing your tone and using versatile tones to express an idea.
Right.
So, what I can recommend would be an extreme step is what actors do. Like when they're assigned a new role, they take the script, they stand in front of a mirror, or they record themselves on their cell phones or whatever they're using. And then they try to play out a role. Like you don't have to be that person to improve. You just have to pretend to be somebody else for some time. So, I mean, it's fun. I know it gets awkward when you're talking to yourself alone in a room. It gets
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
But if you really want to improve your voice modulation, then this exercise would be great. Just take a piece of content. You can either write it down or you can just take prepared content from online. You can extract it online and then pretend to be somebody. Like if you've watched any Western movie, then you pretend to be that character and be like
Yeah.
you use different accents and different voice modulations to say the same sentence,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And you can use different emotions also. Like you can say the same sentence in pretending that you're sad or pretending that you're happy, pretending that you're angry.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. Like you give me a sentence, whatever you want me to say. You give me a sentence.
It's like when it comes to watching movies, I prefer the Western one.
So this is a sentence you want me to say.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll say it. I'll say it in different voice modulations. First, I'll start with
Okay.
monotonous. When it comes to watching movies, I prefer the Western ones. Is the sentence correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to watching movies, I pretend the Western ones. So here, even though I was being monotonous, I was not changing my tone much, but I took pauses at appropriate places. I'm so sorry for the
Yeah.
disturbance. Please
No,
pardon
no,
me. Yeah.
no issue.
So even if you are struggling with being monotonous, you can choose where and when to take a pause to keep the other person engaged and to
Right.
pretend to trick the people into thinking that you're not being monotonous. So when it comes to Western movies, pause. I prefer when it comes to watching movies, pause. I prefer Western ones. I prefer pause, short pause, Western ones, pause. Other than that, if I want to say it in a different way, like a level up, when it comes to watching movies, I prefer Western ones. So I'm changing my expression also. So right
Right.
now I'm addressing somebody casually. And if you were in a formal setting, then when it comes to watching movies, I prefer Western ones. So here I changed my pitch.
Right.
Yeah. So you can try this
Yeah.
exercise. You don't have to stand in front of the mirror for hours or even a lot of minutes, just 2 minutes, like randomly whenever you're free. Just,
Yeah.
when we were kids, we used to pretend, we used to play teacher, or we used to play like doctor.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
We used to pretend that
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, I'm doing a checkup on you, and you have this disease. We just have to
Right.
pretend for some time and talk to ourselves. That is it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So do that. And do you have any more questions for me?
No.
No? Okay, great. So would you like to go ahead and continue the conversation?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. And I hope I'm able to help you because I just want this session to be,
Yeah.
fruitful for you. So
Yeah. Of
anyway,
course.
uh, which genre of movies do you usually prefer watching?
Romantic one.
Okay, so you like
Yeah.
rom-coms or
Yeah.
just romantic movies? Rom-coms are where there is romance and comedy. And purely romantic is when there's like intense romance. So which one do you like
Yeah.
more?
Both will do. It's like both will
Okay.
do. And like this is the one thing that when I started watching Western movies, the first thing that I was unable to watch the crime thriller because of those sound effects. It felt like
Uh,
it will badly affect my ear, and I will
oh.
get uh, deaf as well. Like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
suddenly they, I mean the sound is okay when they are talking, and suddenly
Yeah.
the action comes or they start those sounds of bullet, and it's like
Yeah.
what to do. And because the problem starts because I generally prefer watching with the earphones on,
Headphones on.
so
Yeah.
that is the problem. And like I started watching the romantic ones and the soft movies, and
Yeah.
then I kind of got I mean an interest of those movies. And when it comes to Bollywood, like earlier I used to watch all those movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, generally those of 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But when in recent days, I'm only watching those rom-com or the soft ones, like in which there is no that much sound effects and all.
I mean, you've picked the right genre because I feel like in rom-coms or in comedies, they focus more on the dialogues and the dialogue delivery. So it is better actually. Because in crime
Yeah.
thrillers, they don't focus much on the language or the dialogue delivery. They focus more on the body language of the actors and the plot of the story.
Yes. And one more thing I would like to say that when I watch those movies, it's like if you are watching for a 2 hour movie, 30 minutes goes in only action. They are not
Uh,
any producing any sound or anything like that. So they are
yeah.
not even talking. But here the whole whole 2 hours you are able to listen to them and try to understand that what are they speaking and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you that that's why I'm saying that you picked, like, you got lucky and you picked the right genre because rom-com movies actually do focus on dialogues more. Like, there's constant conversation back and forth
Right,
between the protagonist and the other actors,
right.
right? Yeah, so you picked the right movie genre, and you can also watch like psychological comedy movies, or you can watch dramedies. Like there is a new genre called dramedies where there's a drama and comedy combined in
Okay,
one movie. So in dramedies also there is a lot of conversation and there is a lot of insightful conversation. So considering based on what you've told me today, I feel like you will really enjoy dramedies.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And like you can watch a movie like The Pursuit of Happiness. That's a classic Western movie.
Okay.
And there is constant dialogue between the actor and other people. And I think you will really like it because the protagonist is also trying to improve his life and he starts working on his communication skills and other skills and he starts studying and
Okay,
stuff. And he's an adult, he has a kid. So I think you will really like it. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness. So you
okay.
can start with that genre of movies.
Yeah.
Okay. It was really great talking to you, and I don't think you have a lot of obstacles when it comes to communication. I think it's more of a confidence and personality aspect that you can improve on very easily. So, I mean, all the best for you. And
Yeah, of
we
course.
have approached the end of the session, so I'm just going to say goodbye and
Yeah.
have a nice day.
Have a nice day, you too. It was lovely talking to you. Bye for now and see you in another session.
Yeah, thank you so much. Goodbye.